So now, let's go on. This week we are going to continue our series walking through the minor prophets of the Old Testament. Thus far, we have looked at the prophets of the northern kingdom, the kingdom of Israel. That kingdom is now gone. So now we're focusing primarily in the southern kingdom. Just for our timeline so you can see, we're in that big tall one right there. We're going to be there for a while. That's where we're going to live. Now, tonight we are talking about the book of Zephaniah. How many people have ever read the book of Zephaniah? So this book takes place in the southern kingdom, probably centered in and around Jerusalem. And we're not really sure exactly when it takes place, probably toward the end of the southern kingdom, probably not that long before the fall of the temple in 586. Sometime a little bit before that. So what our plan for the night is I'm just going to kind of walk through the book. It's not that long, and it has a very structured format. So I'm just going to walk through each section, highlight a couple key verses, and through that we're going to hit on some of the themes, the motifs, all of that going on in the book, and then we'll go on to our questions. So you're not getting out of the questions. So be thinking about stuff as we go here. So let's do it. So starting off, we start off with an introduction, subscription, intro, whatever you want to call it. And we don't really get a ton of information. All we really get in Zephaniah 1:1, the word of the Lord came to Zephaniah, the son of Cushai, the son of Gildiah, the son of Amariah, the son of Hezekiah, in the days of the king Josiah, the son of Ammon of Judah. That's all we really get. There is one interesting maybe note here. Normally, you would not have this many son ofs. You'd get one, maybe two. Some people hypothesize that maybe they do this to get to Hezekiah. It is uncertain whether this is King Hezekiah or just another Hezekiah, because it was a common-ish name. It's uncertain. It doesn't say. This is all we know about Zephaniah. So we're just going to run with this. The next big section is what we call an oracle against Judah. And it is exactly what it sounds like. It is, 11 verses or so, kind of just yelling at Judah, where God is saying, these are all the things you've done, and these are what's going to happen as a consequence of that. I want to highlight a couple verses because it really gets specific about what the people have done. So I'm going to read verses 4 and 5 here. This is God talking. I will stretch out my hand against Judah and against all the inhabitants of Jerusalem. I will cut off from this place every remnant of Baal and the names of the idolatrous priest. Those who bow down on roofs to the host of heavens, those who bow down and swear to the Lord, but also swear to Moloch. Okay, we got a couple things to talk about here. The first one is this idea of bowing down on the rooftops. What is this about? Well, this is a common practice, especially in worshiping Baal. So there is an Ugaritic text called the Epic of Kirta, or the Kirta Epic. It's a big poem that talks about a Canaanite deity, Kirta. But in it, it has a line that talks about how the people worship Baal. It says, go to the top of the tower, bestride the top of the wall, honor Baal with your sacrifices, and then descend from your housetops. So when we have this here talking about those who bow down on the roofs to the host of heavens, it's talking about people who worship Baal, or who are worshiping Yahweh using the methods of Baal. Either way, not good. Now, this practice was something that was supposed to be abolished during the reign of Josiah. King Josiah launched widespread religious reform, like trying to clean a bunch of stuff up. This was specifically called out as one of the things that was cleaned up. Clearly it was not. It is still happening. The other part of this verse, those that bow down to the Lord, but also swear by Moloch. What is this? Well, Moloch there's two possibilities here. Moloch is either an Amorite deity, often associated with human sacrifice, specifically child sacrifice, or it is a type of sacrifice, a type of human sacrifice for a specific thing. Scholars are going back and forth on, is it a deity or is it a sacrifice? Whatever the cost is, or whatever it comes down to, it's bad. It's human sacrifice. So what this passage is talking about, it's highlighting how can you bow down and worship faded to God, to Yahweh, but also either worship Moloch or commit Moloch sacrifices. Those two don't seem to work. And we'll touch on a little bit more what might be happening as we go on. But that's basically what Zephaniah is saying the people are doing. They are improperly worshiping Yahweh, bringing in outside, mostly Canaanite, but other elements into their faith, into how the worship of Yahweh. From there, we transition into the idea of the day of Yahweh, the day of the Lord. Now, this is something we talked about a couple weeks ago, probably like a month ago now at this point, back when we talked with Amos. Here, we see this idea is more fully developed. It's kind of coming more into its own here. But the base idea is still the same. That is that there's this great day of the Lord coming where God will destroy all enemies. Throughout the history, people have thought, the children of Israel were like, this is a great thing. All of the enemies of the Lord are going to be destroyed. This is awesome. Except now most of the prophets are saying, you're part of that. It isn't going to be great for you. You're going to be destroyed along with everything. And largely in this book, the reasons given are because you are worshiping other gods or importing improper worship practices to God. There's a theory that some of these Moloch sacrifices were being offered to Yahweh. Not good. They were taking bad elements and importing them in, trying to blend in some of these sacrifices. And this wasn't something new. In fact, Solomon set up Moloch altars. Going down the line a little bit, Manasseh established king-sanctioned, state-run, ritualistic centers devoted to Moloch. So this has been pervasive throughout Israel's history. And that's why they're going to be against, God's going to be against them in the day of the Lord. As we move on, we then go to the outside. We then have what we call an oracle against the nations. And again, kind of just like what it sounds. A list of nations that are mostly around that God is listing out, these are the things you've done against me or my people. This is going to be the result. You're going to be destroyed. Now, just so we can get our bearings kind of correct on us, here's our map again. Remember, Northern Kingdom, gone. People have been taken away. Some people have been brought back, but it's very Mad Maxy up there right now. It's kind of a wasteland. In this in this prophecy, a couple nations are specifically called out. We get Philistia over here. We get the kingdom of Moab, the kingdom of Ammon, Assyria up in the top, and then kind of just off the map here is the kingdom of Cush. All of those nations are explicitly called out as an affront against God, coming against the people of God, doing a variety of things that mean they're going to be destroyed. Now, there is a really interesting element in this passage, in this section. It doesn't have any bearing on us, but I'm going to go off on a little rabbit trail, and you'll see why, hopefully, in a second. So this is Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 11. The Lord will be terrible against them. The Lord will shrivel all the gods of the earth, and they shall bow down, each in its place, and all the coasts and all the islands of the nations. Does anything come off interesting about the phraseology of this verse? Anything hit anyone as weird? Maybe? What was the line, the Lord will shrivel all the gods of the earth? Sounds like a weird line. This is showing the Israelite religion's movement. Israel does not become truly monotheistic until after the exile. It's after they come back that they decide there is only one God. Prior to that, they're what we call molatry or molatriistic, which is the idea that there are lots of gods, but there is one supreme God that is in charge of all of them. And that's a subtle difference, but it is a difference. So earlier, Nick was talking about the angels, right? So if you have this monotheistic mindset, it would be these angels are the gods of other nations. Like, this angel is the god of the Amorites. This angel is the god over here. But above them is God. God created them. They are not gods. But that sounds like a really pedantic difference, right? But it can help you understand phraseology in the Old Testament. Even think about the Ten Commandments. You shall have no other gods before me. It's not, the way it's phrased to the people isn't, there is no other God besides me. It's saying these other things out there, whether we would call them devils, demons, angels, whatever, I created them. Don't listen to them. They're not gods. And it took the exile for that to really become codified. And I know this is a very big tangent, but I think it is important because as you read the Old Testament, if you keep this in the back of your mind, some passages might click a little better. Something that if you read this first time, you're like, that comes off as weird. I'm not sure how I feel about that. If you keep this, what's called molatry in the back of your head, this is how the people understood God at this point, it clicks a lot of things in. Okay, tangent over. I'm sorry. So then, what was that? Oh. After this point, we zoom back in to Jerusalem. We're not done with Jerusalem yet. The shaping of this section is really interesting. So you have your doom section. It starts with Judah, and it ends with Jerusalem. It's bracketing this entire section. The idea being that we want the doom oracles against everyone else. Yeah, they're all bad. They're all bad. Well, you're bracketing it. You're just as bad, if not worse. We're going to start with you, talk about all the bad stuff going on everyone else, and then we're going to hammer it home again with you. The idea being that the evil's kind of already in the house. And there's some interesting groups of people that get called out in this section. So I'm going to read, this is chapter 3, verses 3 and 4. The officials within Jerusalem, are roaring lions. Its judges are evening wolves that leave nothing until the morning. Its prophets are reckless, faithless persons. Its priest has profaned what is sacred, and they have done violence to the law. So who is being called out here? We have rulers, officials, prophets, and priests. They represent kind of opposite ends of a dichotomy. You have what you might call the state on this side, your officials, your rulers, and then you have the religious establishment. It's not the church, but it's the church for simplicity's sake, with prophets and priests. It's the idea that the corruption, the evil in Israel is wide spanning. It's covering the gamut of life in Israel, especially in Jerusalem. It's also highlighting that the wickedness is starting from the top and filtering down. It's not something the people have started to do. You get that narrative a lot when you have uprising. Oh, it's the people that started this and the evil came up. This is highlighting, no. It's those that should know better. It's those that are in charge that have started the evil, and it's filtering down. So that's really calling out those that are in charge, the rulers, the prophets, the priests, the ones that are in these positions. It's continuing this theme that is established in almost every single minor prophet book. But it doesn't end, sadly, as with the vast majority of our minor prophet books. We end with redemption. We get our last couple verses here talk about a reunited, brought back together Jerusalem. I'll read the last 3 verses of the book here. So this is Zephaniah 3, 18 through 20. As on the day of festival, I will remove disaster from you, so that you will not bear reproach from it. I will deal with all of your oppressors at that time, and I will save the lame, and I will gather the outcast, and and I will change their shame into praise and the renown of all in the earth. Oops, scroll down. At that time, I will bring you home. At that time when I gather you, for I will make you renowned and praised among all the peoples of the earth when I restore your fortunes before your eyes, says the Lord. So we have this section talking about almost a double prophecy. It's talking about you're going to be scattered. The first diaspora is coming. You're going to be taken away because it hasn't happened yet. But you're also going to come back. It's also reminding you that you will be brought back together. You'll be drawn home. It's reminding the people dark times are ahead, but they're not going to last forever. You will be brought back. That remnant will return. Your fortune will be restored. You will be restored in the eyes of all. This exile will not be forever. God is reminding the people that they will not be abandoned. They're going to go away, but God will draw them back and draw them back more than what they have now. Will draw them back to fortunes. What was negative will be praised among them and the peoples. So that's how this kind of dour book ends. It ends with this hope that you're going to come back. So now, let's go to our questions.